Welcome, listeners, to Crossing Borders, a podcast that is not about immigration. I'm your host, Sid, also known as Squidney, and this is my co-host, Josh, also known as Mythic. Grab your passports and join us for episode number 5, where we will be talking about AI. And this is a special episode, too, so get ready for that. Yeah.
Very special.
But first, let's catch up on each other's week. Josh, anything interesting happened to you, or do you have a story to share, I should say?
Well. Remember the cockroach story way back then?
Oh, no.
Here's the sequel. So the other day, my area was announced like, hey, we're going to have another pesticide stuff happening. So I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And we asked the reason why we're doing it again, right? Because apparently there's more mosquitoes, and a couple of people that live in my area were already infected with the disease. So yeah, okay, fine, sure. I guess round 2 of a cockroach whack-a-mole and a super horror game, and yeah, they did the thing, and I was outside my house at the time because I'm not gonna be stuck in the bathroom again at the not Never a second again. Time. Not doing that again. So I'm out of my house and I come back, and well, a lot less cockroaches because I dealt with the first wave of the army the first time around, and it's still a lot, mind you. There's like still at least 15 in each bathroom, and then outside there was like around 20 that I can just stomp with my shoe.
Yeah, because that will work.
Which is disgusting still. Yeah, and then I went in my house, cleaned up the cockroach carcasses, and it was still smelly. Smell of the dead bodies, obviously, and I thought, okay, we're good, we're clear, time to take a nap. And I took a quick nap. I woke up, went out of my room, and I was like, oh no, there's a cockroach. So we have in my house at least, we have a sort of a high ceiling, even though it's like only one floor, right? So the cockroach was hanging on the wall, on the quite near to the roof, so it was quite high and unreachable, even though you're like holding a swatter or something. So I was like, how am I supposed to? I mean, like when it was in the bathroom, the bathroom walls ain't too high, so I can, accurately throw a slipper and accurately hit the cockroach to kill it. This is not the case this time. It's up there, and I can't reach it. I have to climb up with a ladder, and that's dangerous already. So I climbed on the ladder, grabbed my sword. I was like, okay. All it takes is one hit. And I smack.
Yeah.
There's a saying here. There's a saying that everybody gangsta until the cockroach flies, right? And it flew. It spread its wings and it flew. And I was like, whoa! I was like, oh no! I frantically went down the stairs, and then the cockroach flew across the room. Onto the other wall, onto the other high wall. So I was like, curse you, it's like, cockroach!
Get me now,
so,
peasants.
Move the chair.
I'm above you.
Climb up again. Prepare to swat it. I was like, okay, if I swat it this way, it won't go to the kitchen. It will go to around, like sort of a small backyard or more of a side yard. So that, if it flies off away, I don't really care. As long as it doesn't get more inside of the house, I guess. So like, I saw it that way, and it defied physics. I don't know how the cockroach dodged my swat, but he flew into the kitchen opposite the way I was. I don't understand. This cockroach has like 9,000 IQ or something.
You're not gonna dupe
flew
me,
into the kitchen.
Fool.
I was like, oh no.
I have the high ground.
Yeah, I know. And it's like in the kitchen, like, okay, I gotta kill this cockroach quick because if it, goes over my food and stuff, that's bad. That's real bad. I have to throw out a lot of stuff. So yeah, quickly, I managed to kill it. This time I just took a piece of scrap paper. I don't use this water anymore. So it was like crawling on the floor of the kitchen. So I grabbed a piece of old paper and I just smacked it with my hand. Crunch it, you know? You hear that crackle? I'm like, yes, okay, he's dead. I lift up the paper. He walks again. I was like, what? How is this possible?
This creature is immortal.
I know, and I keep smacking it again, right? And then every time I lift up, it walks again. I'm like, how is this possible, mate?
Like a pan and just like
last time, I think it was
like
the
a metal
third
pan. Tries boiling it alive and it's
Yeah,
still fine.
so-
And you're like, what is happening?
I know, like what is this wizard? What is this witchery? You know, is he using any spells, any protection spells? The third time I swatted with my hand. Finally, it said, "Whoa, okay, that's dealt with." Throw it in the bin, and I can finally let out a sigh until I looked up and there's another cockroach up at the wall. Like,
I have been reincarnated.
No! And that's basically my afternoon gone in the drain. So yeah, I won't continue because it's more or less the same story of trying to kill that cockroach. Because they just won't die. I just keep hitting them and they won't die. That's why it makes me so
they got
angry.
That enchanted armor.
Anyways, yeah. How was your week, man?
So recently, I purchased a video game I have had my eyes on for like 2 years, or maybe not 2 years, but for a while.
Whoa. Okay.
This video game
what's it called?
is called Rain World.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm dumb because I don't keep up with games a lot. Is it Rim World or Rain
World? Like rain from the sky.
Okay. What's it about?
Essentially, you play as a slug cat, and you run around. And just go with it. He's cute. And you run around this like 2D world, and you try to survive and get to the end. There's a story, but I have no idea what it is. And the cool thing about it, though, is the AI and animations are like really cool. So the way they do it is none of the creatures are animated like you normally would, like where you get the guy and then you animate the leg movements like if you're making a movie, you know? What they did is they used procedural animation, which means it calculates what they're probably supposed to look like based on like what angle they're at, where they're looking, where the near points of land are, to try to guess where the feet will be and where the tail will be. Yeah.
Oh.
So the creatures can like coil around really complicated shapes and look fine because it's all procedural. It's all coded animation. And it makes it look really cool.
Okay.
The second cool thing.
Yeah. I can imagine.
The second cool thing is the AI is really cool. So all the monsters, they're not like traditional like bad guys in a video game. Like for example, in a Mario, you run around the level and all the turtles just walk back and forth, you know? And then they hit you, you die.
Yep.
In Rain World,
very basic.
The creatures act like actual animals. They like run around, they hunt other creatures. If there's a lot of lizards, so if like a lizard's trying to hunt you and trying to eat you, then maybe there's a chance another lizard could show up and fight the first lizard over you as food. And then they'll start fighting and you can escape.
What? Yo,
I know, it's cool.
Advanced.
And then there's like these
interesting
vultures, which are like these massive birds that like have like smoke coming off of them or something. And they like swoop down from the sky and just like pick up like lizards and you or whatever. And it's really cool.
Whoa, that sounds cool for a 2D game.
Pretty cool. And then there's the scavengers, which are programmed to act like players. Essentially, they're supposed to be they're supposed to be your equals.
Okay.
In intelligence. So yeah, it's a really cool game, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. Maybe on my channel a bit, maybe a live stream.
Oh yeah, make sure to check out Squidney's channel. Link in the
Squidney
description down
Games.
below or on our
Make sure to
about page.
check out Mythic's channel.
Squidney Games on
Magician
YouTube.
On YouTube.
That is right.
Although he doesn't need as much help as I do. Please subscribe. No,
all right. You could also subscribe on our Crossing Borders YouTube channel or hit follow on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, wherever you're hearing this on.
Yeah, hear more random stories about killing cockroaches and me just having the most random things to talk about, while Mythic's always having literal battlegrounds going on in his house.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's wrong here, mate, honestly.
Anyways, artificial intelligence.
The interesting topic of the year.
I love AI, and it is amazing.
They are going to eventually surpass humans, and we're all going to die.
Now, they're awesome.
For now, it's cool. For now, we support. Later on, who knows?
But since today is episode 5, what we're doing is every 5th episode, so like episode 5, episode 10, episode 15, following that pattern, we're going to have a special episode. Yeah. And in this special episode,
outside of the topic of America versus Indonesia. So,
we'll mix things up
a bit
by changing the topic up and maybe doing a little something other than just talking about a subject, Like, maybe we'll do a spicy food challenge sometime.
Wait, hold on a
very
minute.
Spicy.
A spicy
like, so
food
spicy
challenge?
It makes you cry.
Are you trying to kill me?
I think hot Cheetos are a little too spicy for me, so follow if you want to see that.
Okay, this is sort of an Indonesian thing. I have to get into this a little quick. I need to explain to Squidney here. I can't eat spicy food. We have here a brand of instant noodles in Indonesia called Indomie, and it is one of the most delicious food in the world. Please, if you have a chance, go buy it. It's so good. Any flavor, it's so good. Anyways, that every type of the flavor has their own chili pack, and the chili pack is rated as not too spicy. And basically, if you can't eat the spicy or the chili pack in that instant noodle pack, that means you can't eat spicy food. And I can't eat the spicy thing. I mean, I can, but I'll suffer real bad. So
neither of us are good with spice at all.
You suggesting spicy food challenge? Oh, no, you can't eat spicy food as well?
Spicy food too. Like when I go to like a Mexican restaurant and get like, I don't know, some sort of enchilada. Enchiladas are really good, by the way. I love enchiladas. But the sauce, most of the time, if it's like the not spicy sauce, it's just barely. It's like it's teasing the borderline between just enough spice and being a little bit too spicy. So.
Oh, okay. But this is not the topic. We're going out of this. Anyway, back to AI. Squidney suggested a contest. So will you elaborate?
So, listeners, prepare yourselves for the contest of the day. The day. No,
the
just
century.
Just the day.
Oh, never mind.
It's not that grandiose.
All right. Okay.
Maybe even the contest of the week. But...
the contest of the week. Let's go.
Kind of scary, actually.
Very nice.
We are going to use it's a free AI called ChatGPT. Is that what it's called? OpenAI.
OpenAI.
Yeah,
it's called OpenAI.
And we are going to use OpenAI's chatbot to generate stories. And then we're going to have a contest.
Ooh, I love stories.
The best wins.
So the contest, not only the best stories, but the best storyteller.
Yeah. Maybe we should have a few categories. We should have like best in actual plot,
true,
best in like the setting, and best in humor.
Oh, wait. Okay. So you're saying best in setting, best in plot, and best in
Humor,
what's the last one?
comedy, the laughs, the giggles, the chortles, and the
Humor.
chuckles.
Okay.
We got them here, folks. I have no idea where that came from, but that was pretty smooth.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all
Okay.
right. It's fine. All right. Time to generate stories. So, what's the topic here? What's the so we don't go
Okay.
too abroad,
I'm
right?
gonna ask the AI generate me some story prompts.
Topics.
Oh, I need to reload.
Or prompts, yeah, or like
Yeah.
categories, because
Okay.
this episode is about AI, so we're
Yes.
using AI to do everything.
Everything is about AI.
We can even ask the AI to write the outro or something.
That would be
might
awesome,
be cool.
actually. We could even.
We should have done that for the
we should've.
intro. It's fine. It's fine.
But, we could have the AI make the thumbnail. I already made a thumbnail,
Ooh.
but
Ooh, your thumbnail looks good though.
I
To
can
be
just
honest,
plug that in as like a reference image, and then it could come up with. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. A few story ideas. Write a story about a person who discovers they have the ability to time travel, but can only travel to the past. Okay, write a story
Sure.
about a group of friends who decide to start a business together, but things don't go as planned. 3, write a story about a person who's stuck in a repeating day and must find a way to break the cycle. 4, write a story about a young wizard who must face an evil sorceress and her army of dark creatures. And 5, write a story about a person who inherits an old house, but when they move in, they discover that it is haunted by the ghost of the previous owner.
Okay. Here, how about this? I'm gonna write my own prompt. You're gonna write your own prompt,
Okay.
and we'll just read out whatever comes out. Okay, we'll give each other 3 minutes to come up with an idea, and we'll come back.
Are you ready?
Oh, all right. I'm ready. You ready?
Well, that was perfect timing.
Okay.
Would you like to go first?
Okay. I'd say you propose a title, and I'll propose a title for our story that was generated by the AI, and we'll let the viewers or the listeners decide who has the best title.
Okay.
So, what's your title?
The title of my story is Josh, the Mythic Magician.
Oh, no. No. Okay. My title is okay, this is hard.
You could always ask the AI to come up with a title for it.
I could, but I kind of want to come up with my own title. Come on, brain, work, think hard. I'll title it The Key.
The Key. Ooh,
simple.
Mysterious. Very simple.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or should I?
I will go first. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
My prompt that I gave it was: write me a short story starring a mythical magician named Josh, set in a high fantasy world with dire stakes. And this is what it gave me.
Okay, let's listen, everyone.
Okay. Josh was a legendary magician, known throughout the kingdom for his extraordinary powers and his bravery in the face of danger. He had defeated countless foes and saved countless lives, earning him the respect and admiration of all who knew him. But, despite his many accomplishments, Josh had never faced a challenge like the one that lay before him now. Great evil had risen in the land, threatening to enslave the kingdom and plunge it into darkness. Only Josh had the power to stop it, but the stakes were dire, and the odds seemed impossible. With a heavy heart, Josh set out on his quest, determined to save his people, no matter what the cost. He traveled through the treacherous mountains and dense forests, braving raging storms and facing down fierce beasts. Every step of the journey was fraught with a danger. But Josh remained resolute, driven by his sense of duty and his love for his kingdom. I accidentally smacked my mic right then. At last, after many grueling days of travel, Josh arrived at the lair of the evil sorceress. The sight that greeted him was one of unspeakable horrors. Twisted creatures and dark magic abounded. And the sorceress herself radiated malevolence. But Josh was not deterred. With a fierce cry, he drew his sword and charged at the sorceress, his magic at the ready. The battle that ensued was unlike any other Josh had ever fought. The sorceress was a formidable opponent, wielding dark powers beyond his understanding. But Josh was a warrior of unparalleled skill and determination, and he fought with all his might. The clash of magic and steel echoed through the lair as the two battled to the death. In the end, it was Josh who emerged victorious. His magic had proved stronger than the sorceress's dark powers, and with one final blow, he struck her down. The kingdom was saved, and peace was restored to the land. Josh returned home a hero, hailed by all as the greatest magician the world had ever known.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
But he knew that as long as evil lurked in the world, there would always be more battles to fight. And with his magic by his side, Josh was ready to face whatever dangers came his way. Just as he was settling back into life in the kingdom, Josh received a mysterious message from an unknown sender. The message contained only a single line. The darkness is rising. You are needed. Josh knew that this could not be a coincidence. Someone or something was calling out to him, summoning him to a new quest. And though he had no idea what dangers lay ahead, Josh knew that he could not ignore the call. With a heavy heart, he set out once again, determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But as he left the safety of his kingdom behind, Josh couldn't help but wonder, was he walking into a trap? Or was this the chance he had been waiting for to truly prove himself as the greatest and most mythical magician of all?
I am the greatest, clearly. There's no debate here.
There's no need to prove it.
That was quite. I didn't expect it to generate a long story from such a short prompt. I probably did a prompt too specific. That's why it generated as like a sort of a short story.
Yeah.
Like way shorter than what you got.
Mine was pretty long compared to a lot of the other stuff I've gotten with the AI in the past.
Yep. So about the plot, there was a few plot holes there. While I was listening.
What?
First of all,
flawless. I think 10 out of 10.
No.
What?
You can't judge your own story. No. First of all, as a mythical magician, I wouldn't need to draw out my sword. What do you mean draw out your sword?
Yeah, there wasn't much magic going on. That's true.
Magic at the ready. What magic are we talking?
He drew his sword.
It's a sword.
Also, there's a little bit of magic involved, but he drew his sword nonetheless.
I know. Anyways, my title was The Key, because I had no other idea what to title it. The prompt was, write a story about a person who was stuck in a time loop with his friend. In the time loop, he must stop a terrible accident that kills a lot of people. In the end, he finds out that the key to escape the time loop was killing his friend. Will he do it?
Ooh.
That's the prompt. It's probably too specific, but
that's
it's okay.
A really good prompt, though. Like that could make a really interesting movie.
Yep. I just put in key points of the story and see what it generates, and here's what came out.
Okay.
John and his friend Rachel has always been close. Ever since they were kids, they had grown up together and they had always been there for each other through thick and thin. One day, John and Rachel found themselves in a strange place. A place where time seemed to stand still. They were stuck in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over and over again.
Oh.
At first, John and Rachel were just confused and disoriented, but as the days went by, they realized that they were there for a reason. They were there to stop a terrible accident that will kill a lot of people. Every day, John and Rachel tried to figure out how to prevent the accident, but no matter what they did, it always seemed to happen. They were starting to lose hope. But then John had an idea. He remembered something his friend had told him. Something about the key to escaping the time loop. He thought about it for a long time, trying to understand what it meant. Finally, he realized what he had to do. The key to escaping the time loop was to kill his friend Rachel. It was the only way to break the cycle and save all those people from the terrible accident.
Oh no.
John was torn. He couldn't bring himself to kill his best friend, but he also couldn't bear the thought of all those people dying. He didn't know what to do. In the end, he had to make the decision. He knew he had to do whatever it took to stop the accident and save all those lives. He couldn't live with himself if he didn't try. So he took a deep breath and raised his hand. He closed his eyes and swung his arm, hoping with all his might that he was doing the right thing. When he opened his eyes, he saw that Rachel was gone. No one witnessed what John did, but the time loop was broken, and the accident had been prevented. John was relieved and grateful, but he also knew that he would never forget the sacrifice his friend had made. He vowed to always remember Rachel and the love and loyalty they had shared. The end.
That was actually really good.
I know. I was like, whoa, it came up with this? What?
I was invested.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, setting, humor. There was no humor there.
Yeah, both of ours were like
plot?
0 out of 10 humor.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should put like with a funny tone in it or something.
How about instead of humor, we can change it to presentation. Since neither of us had any humor.
Presentation. Your presentation was good, to be honest.
Yeah, I tried.
Clearly.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
So, what did you think of the story? Of The Key?
The Key. Well, I must say.
Probably not the best title.
The title, once you hear the story, the title makes sense. But before hearing the story, I gotta admit, I did not know what the story was about. It didn't quite capture my intrigue, so to speak. However,
yeah. I should have asked the AI to generate me a title, but it's okay.
However, it was a very compelling plot. Very good. There might have been a few plot holes, like if it was a time loop, then if he killed Rachel and it didn't work, then wouldn't the time just loop back and she would be brought back to life? Or are they the only two unaffected?
They're the only two unaffected, I think, in this story.
That's something you must consider. Also, while you were reading it, I was like, this is literally the trolley car issue. It's like, oh, do you redirect it to hit the one person or kill the 5 people, you know?
That was the idea when I put the prompt in. That was the idea. To put the trolley problem, but into a time loop story. That was I'm really proud and also really also sort of like shocked that you caught on that there was the trolley problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
very smart.
Let's say, okay. Presentation. There was a good 6 out of 10. You showed zeal and energy. It wasn't like the best story I've ever heard, like told wise, you know.
Clearly.
You know. But
yeah,
you did very good as a narrator. Let's see. The plot.
Thank you.
I would have to give like a 9 out of 10. That was a really good plot.
Thank you. Oh man, I worked hard on it. Clearly,
for being like 3 paragraphs long, the emotional like connection to the characters was just really good for like 3 paragraphs long.
I know, right? That's insane.
Like I just felt like, oh no, John, you had to kill Rachel.
painful. When I heard your story, I was like, okay, the plots are like, yeah, the plot's quite. I don't know what's the difference between setting and plot. Maybe I'm dumb here, but
Okay, so the
is there an
plot
actual
is
difference?
the events and progression of the story, while the setting is the world and characters which it takes place in and with.
Okay. In terms of setting, it's okay. I guess I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
The plot's pretty good. Setting up as this sort of opposite to the mythical magician, the evil sorceress.
Yes.
I'll give it a 7.
All right.
And your presentation was also great. I'll also give it an equal 7.
All right. Thank you. So for you, plot is 9, presentation 6, and setting. Time loops are pretty cool. But other than that, there wasn't much of a setting.
Yeah.
So I'll give it.
I can probably. Yep.
I'll give it a 6 as well.
Oh, that's very generous. You should have given it a 4, but that's very generous. Thank you.
So.
Anyways, shall we get to the next story?
All right. This time.
Another 3 minutes, which, for you listeners, will be.
Yeah, we'll cut it out.
No time at all.
However, this time we'll have a little twist on the story generation.
Ooh. Okay.
This time, you have to add in the phrase to your prompt as if it was written by an elementary schooler.
I'm sorry. As if it was written by an elementary schooler?
Yeah. Or a child, or like a young kid, or something, some equivalent,
Okay.
Let's see what comes out. Talk to you in 3 minutes. And this time...
Okay, I think I should go first this time, right?
I was just about to say that. I'm like, this time you should go first.
Well, that's what I'm about to say.
Okay, what's your title?
Great minds think alike. Okay, my title. Leo the Lion and Ben the Bear, a tale of boasting and greed.
Oh, that sounds like a kid's book.
It sounds like a fable,
Mine didn't end up sounding like a kid's book at all. It misinterpreted what I meant, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Shall I start my story?
Yes, proceed, great storyteller.
Okay. I'll say the prompt later at the end, so it doesn't spoil the story. Here we go. There was once a lion named Leo, who was the most boastful animal in the whole jungle.
Oh no.
He would strut around and brag about how strong and fast he was, and how he was the king of the jungle. One day, Leo met a bear named Ben, who was the greediest animal in the whole jungle. All Ben cared about was eating as much food as he could, and he would do whatever it took to get his paws on it. Leo and Ben didn't like each other very much at first, but they soon realized that, hey, they had something in common. They both liked to boast and brag about themselves.
Oh.
So they became friends and spent all their time together, competing to see who could boast the loudest and the longest. But their boasting and bragging started to get on nerves of the other animals in the jungle. They were tired of hearing Leo and Ben go on and on about themselves, and they decided to teach them a lesson. So one day, they set a trap for Leo and Ben. They told them that there was a giant pile of delicious food hidden in the jungle, and that the one who found it first would be crowned the ultimate bragger. Leo and Ben were so excited that they didn't even think to be suspicious. They raced off into the jungle, determined to be the first to find the food. But when they got there, they found that the only thing waiting for them was a big, empty pit. They had fallen for the trick, and now they were stuck at the bottom with no way out. At first, Leo and Ben were angry and frustrated, but as they sat there, they started to think about all the times they had boasted and bragged. They realized that they had been foolish and that their boasting had only caused problems for everyone else. So they made a promise to each other to change their ways and be more humble in the future. And when the other animals finally came to rescue them, Leo and Ben were grateful and apologetic. From that day on, Leo and Ben were known as the humblest animals in the jungle.
Oh.
And even though they still liked to have a little bit of fun, they made sure to always remember the lesson they had learned. The end.
Now, once again, your story
That was a
very
pretty good story. Okay, here's the prompt I put in. Write a short story as if it was written by a kid about a boastful lion and a greedy bear finally learning their lesson with some humor mixed in. And I saw no humor, but okay.
That
All
was a
right.
good story though.
What did you think?
I liked it. That was totally something I could see in like a kid's book. Like,
Yep.
oh, kids, it's time for bed. Daddy, please read us about the lion and the bear who like to brag. And he's like, okay, children, you need to learn that lesson anyways. And then he sits down with them, opens the book, and he's like,
Leo the lion and Ben the bear. A tale of boasting and greed. Okay, sit down, kids. Tuck yourselves in your bed, and let me read you the story.
Yes, indeed. But no, that was.
We make a great dad, to be honest. Just saying.
That was pretty good.
Yep. So, what's your title?
My title is The Package.
That does not ring anything about kids or anything.
No, it totally did not understand.
No, there was nothing about.
Okay. Let me begin.
All right.
As Emily sat on the crowded train, staring out of the window at the passing landscape, she was startled by a loud thud by her side. She turned to see a small, crumpled package sitting on the seat next to her, as if someone had intentionally left it there. At first, Emily was hesitant to touch the package. It was covered in scribbled writing, like something a child might have done. But her curiosity eventually got the better of her, and she carefully opened it up. Inside, she found a simple note, written in childish handwriting. It read, "Please help me, I'm scared."
Is this a horror story? Is this supposed to be a horror story?
I should not be laughing,
Sorry,
but I did not expect this at all. Emily's heart raced as she read the words. Who could have written this? And more importantly, why had they left it for her to find? As the train rumbled on, Emily's mind was filled with questions. She felt a sudden urge of responsibility to help whoever had left the package, but she had no idea where to start. As she tried to think of a plan, Emily noticed that the other passengers on the train were starting to give her strange looks. She realized that she must have been visibly distressed, and quickly gathered her things and left the train at the next stop. Determined to find out the truth, Emily set off on a journey to track down the person who had left the mysterious package. It was a long and difficult road, filled with twists and turns, and more than a few dangerous encounters. Through it all, Emily remained focused on her goal, driven by the fear and desperation she had felt when she first read the notes. In the end, she discovered that the package had been left by a young boy who had been taken from his family and forced to work in a terrible sweatshop. This is so dark.
Yeah, are you sure you're trying to write a kid's story?
With Emily's help, the boy was able to escape and reunite with his loved ones. And Emily knew that she had made a real difference in the world. As she returned home, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had faced her fears and done something truly meaningful, and she knew that she would never forget the journey that had led her there. So what do you think?
I'm sorry. What were you? Okay, what prompt did you put in there? What happened?
Okay. I thought a mystery story would be interesting, and looking back, I realized I could have worded the prompt differently. That would have produced a child's story. But as it goes right now, is actually what it should have been is write a story written by an elementary schooler that begins with the main character commuting on a train and somebody leaving a mysterious package by her side. But what I wrote and what it generated it off was write a story that begins with the main character commuting on a train and somebody leaves a mysterious package by her side as if it was written by an elementary schooler. And it obviously thought that what I meant was the package was written by an elementary schooler.
Yeah. That's why I put the as if it was written at the front, because I know
I realized
AI
my
probably
mistake,
won't understand
and
it.
I was like,
That story was not fit for kids at all. What was
the one time I go like, as if it was written by a child, sweet story, please. I want something wholesome. It gives me the darkest story we've had today.
I know. What was that about? Okay, let me rate your story then. Presentation, mediocre. I'd say 6.
Mediocre.
Plot, I'd say 11 out of 10.
Yes.
Did it fit the goal of trying to make it look as a kid story?
Oh, absolutely not.
Nope. I'd say a -1 out of 10. Oh dear. So what's your rating of my story then?
Okay. Your story. Let's see. Okay, presentation. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 again. It was about the same as last time. The story. The plot, I would say, wasn't as good. It's pretty generic. Story, like kid story wise. You know, oh, there's the funny animals. They get tricked.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting to go against a full-blown mystery, scary story.
Child
My
kidnapping
goodness.
and liberation
Yeah.
novel. Dang. But your plot, I would give a 7 out of 10. But to match the prompt, I would give it a 10 out of 10, sounding like a children's story. That was spot on child
Hooray!
Story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very generous. All right. My turn. Okay, we're going to do a last story generation. And this time, I want us to use a phrase in the prompt.
Okay.
Written in the style of a pirate.
Okay. Pirate it is.
Okay, another 3 minutes, and we'll meet right back here. And for you guys listening, just 2 seconds probably.
Go get a drink of water as you pause it, and then come back in 3 minutes, and it'll feel like the same amount of time. But we'll get right back to you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, 3 and 2 and a 1. Here we go.
Let's go.
Okay. I'll let you take the stage. What was your title?
Ooh, oh no, I'll come up with one on the spot. It's called Ye Man Who Feared Everything Under Sun.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Let's hop right into the story.
Ahoy, mateys! This be the tale of a man who feared everything under the sun, from the tiniest of bugs to the biggest of storms. He was the kind of man who'd jump at his own shadow, ye see. Well, this scurvy coward of a man ended up on me ship one day, much to the dismay of me entire crew. We tried to get rid of him, but poor bloke was just too afraid to set foot on solid land again. So we were stuck with him, like a barnacle on the hull of a ship. Now, this might not seem like such a big deal, but ye have to understand, this man was a menace. Every time we hit rough waters, he'd be clinging onto something for dear life, whimpering like a wee babe. And don't even get me started on the times we ran into pirates. The man would practically wet his pants at the sight of a Jolly Roger flag. The real kicker was when we ran into a giant octopus. You see, we were sailing through these waters, known for their giant octopi. And sure enough, one of them reared its tentacles at us. Now, most men would have manned up and fought the beast, but not this one. No, he turned tail and ran, screaming like a banshee. In the end, we had to tie the man to the mast just to keep him from jumping overboard. And even then, he was still shaking like a leaf in the wind. 'Twas most ridiculous thing we'd ever seen aboard our here vessel. Needless to say, we were glad to be rid of him when we finally made it to port. We sent him on his way with a swift kick to the rear and a hearty laugh. I swear, I've never seen a man so terrified of life itself. But I suppose that's just the way of the world. Some men are brave, and some men are just plain cowards.
What was that story about? Okay, what prompt did you put in there?
My prompt was, could you write a hilarious story that was written by pirates about a man who fears everything?
I love that. I'll rate the presentation 10 out of 10. I'll rate the plot 10 out of 10. And the matching with the prompt 10 out of 10. Woo! I love it.
Perfect score. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see what you get.
My turn.
Yes. What was your
Here we
title?
Go. Here we go. The Great Sea Adventure of Isaac and Santa.
Santa? As in
Here we
North
go.
Pole Santa.
North Pole Santa. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it was recently Christmas. Might as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into this story. Ahoy, mateys! This will be the tale of two unlikely friends, Isaac Newton and Santa Claus, as they set sail on the open seas for an adventure unlike any other. It was a cold and snowy Christmas Eve when Isaac Newton, the famous scientist and mathematician, found himself wandering the streets of London, searching for a way to escape the chill. As he walked, he stumbled upon a jolly old man with a bright red coat and a white beard, who introduced himself as none other than the Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Isaac! Exclaimed Santa. What brings ye out on such cold night? Isaac told Santa that his desire to escape the winter weather and see the world, and Santa, feeling a twinkle of mischief in his eye, suggested that they set sail on their ship, the North Pole, he says. And so the two set off on an adventure through the open seas, braving rough waves and dodging treacherous pirates. Along the way, they encountered all sorts of wonders, from mermaids and sea monsters to hidden treasure and exotic islands. As they sailed on, Isaac and Santa became the best of friends, sharing stories and laughter as they explored the vast ocean. And when they finally returned home, they were grateful for the adventure they had shared and the bond they had formed. So if ye ever find yourself feeling cooped up on land, just remember the tale of Isaac Newton and Santa Claus, two unlikely friends who braved the open seas and made it back home safe and sound. And always keep an eye out for adventure. You never know when ye might find on the open seas.
Okay. I missed the part where it was Isaac Newton. And also, that was the most random story I've ever heard. Isaac Newton and Santa Claus going on a pirate adventure. Like,
I that was the point. I was like, okay, last story. Gotta come up with the most random thing ever. So I put in a prompt. Write a story written in the style of a pirate about Isaac Newton meeting Santa Claus and both of them having an adventure through open seas.
nice.
And that's what it came out in. Oh no. What's my score here? I can already imagine.
Okay. Presentation. Very good. I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, very generous.
Mostly because you're like, okay, I'll start. Ahoy, matey! Then I was just like, whoa. Did not expect that.
I just, I was in the moment.
Okay, and let's see. Plot. I'd have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I was so enthralled
Thank you.
through the whole story. Although the best part was, of course, the interactions between the best of friends, Isaac Newton, and Santa Claus, as is expected.
I know. Absolutely insane. All right.
Let's see. Humor.
I'd say
Humor, I would give it a good 9 out of 10 for humor. Mostly because it was just so random and out of the blue. And
all right.
it fit with the pirate theme. I would give it a 7 out of 10 for the pirate fittingness, because it was pretty piratey. It was mostly just talked like a pirate, but
yeah, unfortunately, there was not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, I also wrote a little something extra.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it would be funny to ask the AI if it would apologize for the story about Emily because it didn't realize it was supposed to be a children's book. And this is what I got.
Okay.
I'm sorry if my previous story about Emily was not what you were expecting. It seems that I misunderstood your request and wrote a story that was not intended for a children's audience. Please accept my apologies for any confusion or offense my story may have caused. I will be more careful in the future to make sure I fully understand a request before proceeding. I hope you can forgive my mistake. To which I responded, I forgive you.
Oh.
And then it responded, thank you for understanding. I'm glad that I can still be of help to you despite my mistake.
Well done. Okay, okay. I don't want to kind of end that there though. I still kind of want to do one more story. But this time I'm going to do half a prompt, and you'll do half a prompt, and then we'll combine the prompt and see what comes out of that. How about that?
Ooh, that's a good idea. So we have the same prompt essentially.
Technically the same prompt, but so you can, for example, I have some prompts and you have some prompts, and we'll mix those together, but we can put them in any order we want. And so you'll generate one story and I'll generate one story, and we'll see what comes out of that.
All right.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, send. Okay, here we go.
Okay, my prompt was all the weapons in combat is made of or based on fish.
My prompt, a story about a boy named Sydney who was stuck on a train heading from Texas.
No.
And we'll see what comes out of the combination of this.
Okay. This will be interesting.
I'll give you 2 minutes to arrange the words, and same for me, and we'll be right back.
Nice.
Did you get a story?
This is so good. I'm ready if you're ready.
I don't think the AI understood what I asked, but well, it's a story, I guess.
Mine is so good.
Oh no! Okay, I'll go first then, because I think mine is a worse one.
Okay, what's your title?
Okay, here's the fish-wielding hero of the Texas train robbery.
Okay, shoot.
Here we go. Sydney was just an ordinary boy, except for one thing. He had the unique ability to wield weapons and combat techniques made entirely out of fish. That's right. It was a strange talent, but one that had proven to be quite useful in the past.
I would imagine.
On this particular day, Sydney found himself stuck on a train, traveling from Texas to who knows where. It was a long and boring ride, and Sydney was starting to get restless. As he gazed out the window, watching the landscape pass by, he suddenly noticed a group of bandits approaching the train. They were armed and dangerous, and it was clear that they intended to rob the passengers of all their valuables.
Oh no.
Without hesitation, Sydney sprang into action. He reached into his bag, pulled out a swordfish ready to defend himself and the other passengers. As the bandits boarded the train, Sydney clashed swords with their leader, using all of his base fish combat skills to hold his own. The battle raged on, but in the end, Sydney emerged victorious. Thanks to his quick thinking and unique abilities, the train was saved, and the passengers were able to continue on their journey in peace. And Sydney, well, he was hailed as a hero, hailed by all the passengers on the train.
Hey!
The end.
Oh, I love the ending. Okay, first.
Well, clearly you love the end.
Well, yeah, obviously. What?
You know what? I mixed in like this. Write a short story about a boy named Sydney who wielded all the weapons and combat is made of or based on fish and was stuck on a train heading from Texas.
That was a really interesting way of combining it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure where the AI pulled the idea for this, but okay. I'm excited to hear your story because you said it's good. I'm excited.
Is titled Sydney and the Fish.
Simple. I like it. Straight to the point.
And it's actually funny. Some plot points in yours were also in mine, so that's just, we'll get there. So let's begin.
Okay.
Let's dive into this game theory. Sydney sat on the train, staring out the window at the passing landscape with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He'd always dreamed of going on a great adventure, but he could have never imagined that it would involve a train ride through the state of Texas, where all the weapons in combat were based on fish.
Okay.
As the train chugged along, Sydney couldn't help but wonder what kind of fish-based battles he might encounter. Would he have to
continue?
Would he have to sword fight with a giant swordfish? Or perhaps he'd have to face off a group of heavily armed piranhas.
Ooh,
Just
scary.
as Sydney was getting lost in his thoughts, the train suddenly came to a screeching halt. He heard a loud commotion outside. Before he knew it, doors on the train car burst open, and a group of armed men stormed in. "Everyone freeze!" One of the men shouted, brandishing a spear made out of a giant lobster claw. "We're here to take control of this train." Sydney's heart raced as he watched the scene unfold. He had never been in a real-life battle before, and he had no idea what to do. But as the men started to move closer, something inside him snapped. He wasn't going to just sit there and be taken captive without a fight.
Yes.
With a fierce cry,
let's go.
Sydney charged at the men, brandishing a small makeshift weapon of his own. A fork he had grabbed from the dining car. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. The ensuing battle was a hilarious and chaotic mess, with Sydney and the men clashing and clanging their fish-based weapons all over the train. In the end, Sydney emerged victorious, having fought off the attackers and saved the day. As the train pulled into the station, Sydney was hailed a hero. He had faced his fears and emerged victorious, and he knew that he would always be ready for whatever adventures came his way. Might I add that in mine, I fought off a whole group of armed men, one of them with a lobster claw spear, using only a fork and my sheer presence of willpower. Also, I realized that these all end exactly the same. I feel like.
Yeah, I know.
He had faced his fears and emerged victorious. Let's see, the previous one. Not the pirate one, but Emily one. She couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had faced her fears and done something truly meaningful. Let's see, the Josh adventurer one.
Oh. Okay, I believe it was also emerged victorious.
Yeah, hailed as the greatest magician the world had ever known. Actually, it doesn't say that there. Oh yeah. In the end, it was Josh who emerged victorious.
Oh yeah,
it's got a writing style.
A bit of a reputation, but it's okay. It's okay.
So
I love that.
What do you think of my fish-based combat story?
Setting 100%, 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Plot 10 out of. Actually, no, it's more of a 9 out of 10. But
that's still great.
Pretty good.
Yes.
It's pretty good. And the presentation, I love it. 11 out of 10.
Woo!
That was amazing.
Well, for yours, I would say presentation, a solid 8 out of 10. Very good, very good.
Oh, thank you.
Plot, 10 out of 10. I like how I emerged victorious in the end, as always.
A bit biased, but I'll take it.
Yeah, but you did the same thing for the Josh Mythic Magician story, but we won't talk about that.
I was very proud of that, clearly.
Yes. And 10 out of 10 for historical accuracy.
Historical Hold on a minute.
Yeah, that's exactly what Texas is like. Did you not know?
Oh no. Anyways, thank you listeners for dropping by to listen to Crossing Borders. This has been Josh and Sid. Don't forget to grab your swordfish on your way out, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Swordfish.
For some reason.